Death of a Unicorn is the new horror comedy written and directed by Alex Schwartzman. It follows father-daughter duo, Elliot and Ridley, as they hit a unicorn with their car and bring it to the wilderness retreat of a mega-wealthy pharmaceutical CEO. Death of a Unicorn starts off really strong, as the first act is the best part of the film. You get a great sense of who these characters are right off the bat, and I found the father-daughter relationship between Jenna Ortega and Paul Rudd's characters to be a pretty solid emotional core for the film. Although it's cliche, it's executed well through the performances. The same goes for the themes that are introduced in the first act. They have been done many times before, but they are still entertaining at first, and there's some great comedic moments with Will Poulter's character. He was by far my favorite part of the film. The main conflict of the story is also set up well with plenty of intrigue to carry you to the second act. However, this is where the cracks start to form, which only get worse as the film goes on. The problem with Death of a Unicorn is that it never evolves. It stays in a comfort zone and doesn't dare to leave it, so it results in a boring watch after the first 30 minutes. The plot goes in circles and it feels like the characters say the same thing over and over again. We get classic themes you've seen in dozens of other films about the greed of rich people and the hubris of man, but the filmmakers only scratch the surface and end up saying a whole lot of nothing. I mean, I love watching snooty rich people get killed as much as the next guy, but you gotta have a little more substance and nuance than this film has. And this ties into the main villains of the movie, who are extremely one-note and played out. They feel like over-the-top archetypes which can work well in the right context, but it doesn't work in this instance because they are meant to carry us throughout the entire film. Just like my thoughts on the villains in Mickey 17, they are funny at first, but get exhausting the more we see of them. As for the horror aspect, it is really hit or miss. When things start to go down, there's some fun kills, but the novelty kind of wears off after the first couple of deaths. A lot of the kills towards the end were a little underwhelming and unsatisfying. There's also some less than stellar visual effects, which can be distracting at parts. So in conclusion, Death of a Unicorn is a movie that starts out really strong and promising, but as the movie goes on, it gets progressively worse. The plot goes in circles, the characters get more and more annoying, and the filmmakers just scratch the surface of what could have been some really interesting themes. There's a handful of funny jokes, a few good kills here and there, and some commendable performances, but as a whole, I left the theater mostly unsatisfied and wanting a little more. This is a film that I wish was so much better. 2.5 stars.